Okay, good morning, good evening. I'm sure some of you are going to be watching this in the evening, especially today. Today is Monday, the 22nd, 9:43 a.m. East African Standard Time. So that could be early morning in Central Standard uh, Time. So basically, what I'm going to do, as always, do a market analysis of what to expect the markets this week. As you know, I love to check the markets on Sunday night, but I didn't manage to do that last night. So I'm just catching up this morning because anyway, I don't trade on Mondays. So I'm just looking at the markets right now to see what direction to expect the markets to move this week. So far, obviously, you guys know I am a price action trader. And so I just look at the price action, the market structure of different currency pairs, and just generally the market to kind of have an idea of where things are going to go. So then I also look up the news. So there's not much news today being a Monday. Let's just wait. Um, in terms of just hold on. Yeah, like you see today, Monday, the only news that has just happened is the AUD news. The RBA governor made a speech, and then later on today there'll be card news from the Bank of Canada governor. So Australian dollar, I think the news was a bit positive, whatever was discussed or and everything, because I noticed the markets did open with a gap. If I look at the indices, like US 30 did open with a gap. Um, sort of a gap. Let's look at the 30 minutes. Okay, it doesn't show here, but it did open with a gap, yeah. Which is in my opinion not a bad thing. So as you can see technically right now, these are the indices. You guys know I love to trade indices a lot. That is US 30, German 30, and I also like to look at SPX, S&P, as well as NAS. So yeah, so I tend to look at these as well just to check what's happening. Then I'll probably also take a look at the dollar index. So you can see NAS, they're all looking the same. The same kind of things happened last night when the market opened. So that's where we are. Okay, so back to news. So basically, I looked at news. I just did a market overview, looked at the general news for today, early this morning, Central Standard Time, and then I also looked at basically general overview of the different currencies, as well as so sorry, this is the whatever. So there's another site here, FX Street, that I like to look at. And just gives you an idea of. So I always recommend always look at the news, especially from the weekend, so that you see what happened over the weekend, what caused the drops or the impulses and stuff like that. So this could give you a good idea. But I've generally looked at this, yeah. And I've gotten an idea of what's happening in the market. I know that gold yesterday impulsed up. The indices opened with a gap, but the gap is now being filled or has been filled or is still being filled. And I don't think gold will really is yet to it's literally maintained a high since since the beginning of March, I believe. But I feel like it has its pullbacks and then it will continue moving. So this news just confirms that. Okay. For example, coronavirus, especially as Friday was closing, there were a lot of increases with new cases of coronavirus, especially in the US, for example, in different states. So, of course, people are being a bit more cautious about a lockdown. But really, that was not the reason why, because if you noticed, if we look at the US 30, yeah, US 30 basically on Thursday, got to like 100 pips and then it began to pull down. Yeah. So the reason for that is because obviously the coronavirus cases that were reported, which is okay, is a factor, but also we know that companies like Apple announced that they would be closing many of its stores in different states in the country, right? So that basically is not good for the economy because you know that more people are going to be unemployed and so on. So that's basically why the index really kind of took a beating, and the dollar then became like a safe haven. And so you can see people then looked at the dollar, you know, and you can see technically that's what really happened in the market. So you can see this bullish run on the dollar. I anticipate that it may continue, but I feel like there could be a pullback before it continues up, right? So back to the indices, US 30, you can see it opened with, a gap, yes, but it's now 9:49 a.m. East African Standard Time, and it just is fighting for its life, technically, and it's moved back up about 60 points. So technically, yeah, it has respected my market structure, as you can see. Even if I look at the past, okay, it's literally this movement up, down has respected my market structure. So I'm very pleased because at least that gives me an idea that we're on the right track. So my prediction right now, or my analysis, of course, my prediction is not set in stone. The market will do what it will do. And of course, later on in the evening, when we get to hear more news out of the US, we'll see what happens, But just for anybody who's probably in the market, I'm seeing like Dow Jones would probably pull up, right, rather, impulse, maybe potentially, let's say 300 pips or 400 pips. Okay, that's a possibility. Before maybe there's a draw, there's a pullback, but that's my general feel right now. If it doesn't, then it would probably pull back down maybe 150 pips before it continues upwards. Okay, but right now I feel like it's bullish. Let's look at German 30. So German 30 kind of looking like it's doing the same thing. If I look at the 30-minute chart, actually the 30-minute chart shows you exactly what's happening. So it came down, but it feels like it's trying to retest the previous high before maybe it continues downwards, or retest and continue up before it comes back down. So there's a bit of consolidation here. So my take is that there's a possibility of about at least, let's look at the day chart first. Let's look at the day chart first. Yeah, about 500 pips to 700 pips. Yeah, about 500, 700 pips on German 30, or points rather, because with indices we use points to calculate. As for US 30 or Dow Jones, possibly 500 pips, right? Or 500 pips. So usually when what I find is sometimes that US 30 moves more pips than the German 30. Yeah. So 500 pips on US 30, and the same about the same, let's say 100 pips. Let me first, around 300 pips. So US 30 is about 500 pips to 600 pips. German 30 is about 250 to 300 pips. So that's basically what I'm thinking. But there is a possibility that it'll pull back down maybe 150 pips, just like US 30, before it goes back in the direction of the upside. So that's what I'm looking at. And then let's look. So what I do is I'm just going to write what I've said, okay, and what I anticipate. And then later in the week, probably look at it again and see, okay, how things happened in the market, like what happened in the market. So US 30 possibly pull back or of 150 pips, but it's on a bullish run. I feel like it's bullish for about 500 to 600 pips. Then German 30, I guess the same thing, possibly a pullback or the same 150 pips with a bullish move following of about 300 to 400 pips, thereabouts. So I'd like to look at, let's say, USD JPY, because that's another pair I like to look at. As you can see, so yes, it's respected structure, okay, as you guys can see very clearly, okay, so it was on like a range of sorts, so it's gotten to this support, and I feel like it will pull up about, let's say, what, 90 pips, 90 to like 150 pips. So USD JPY possibly, because guys, these are possible moves. I'm not getting into the market now, so I'm not going to do in-depth analysis to try and look at the entries and everything, but I just want to give you a general. It's very possible that this week we might see almost 250 pips on USD on a buy. So 150 to 250 on a buy on USD JPY. Okay, that's what I see right now. If not, it could break and come to the previous low. Okay, if not, and when I'm doing a live trading maybe session, when I'm calling out the trades tomorrow, I'll probably do a live trading session, and you'll probably see me taking trades live. And then yeah, so USD JPY, if it doesn't move up immediately, it'll probably pull back maybe 50 pips before it continues on an uptrend to its 250 mark. Another pair I like to look at is AUD JPY. These are the pairs I trade, and as you can see, guys, this has totally respected my market structure. This is my chart from Friday, Thursday. So, and you guys know I don't trade on Friday, so it's just respecting my market structure. And it opened on a low of 72 and is now at 73. So it has already moved 100 pips. And my take is it's either going to break the after 30 pips onto the upside to the next high of 147. So I look at AUD JPY possibly doing 150 to like, let's say 200 pips, yeah, on a buy before it maybe pulls back or just continues on a strong uptrend. Because today the news out of AUD Aussie was not too bad. So it actually bolstered the AUD pair. It's AUD USD. Let's see if it's the same thing. I believe it is exactly doing the same thing. So if I was to take a trade, honestly, today I would probably take a trade of about 100 pips. Yeah, but it's Monday, so it's gonna move slowly. So AUD USD by 100 pips. We'll look at this later in the week. Yeah, AUD and ZD, possibly the same thing. So as you can see, respected market structure. Yeah, so it's possibly gonna continue up, but I mean, there's no big move on AUD and ZD as of yet. So it's not a pair I would look at right now. I'd probably look for an entry on 1.07435 on a potential move up, or my entry for my pullback down. That would be a better trade for me to take at this point rather than getting into it now. And if it does that, probably come do a bearish of about 200 pips. a sell, but this would be from this point. But again, for me, I wait to see what is happening in the market, and because I'm not really getting into this pair right now, into the market right now, I wouldn't even get into this pair because the pips are, I'm an intraday trader, so I'm looking for big moves like 100, 200, 300 pips. So this is six. Yeah, it's not significant, so I would really take it. And the DJPY is a trade I called last week, and it's actually trying to recover. It pulled back, yeah, on Thursday, and just did a very familiar move, and it's now moved about 50 pips. It's possibly going to go to about 180 pips, maybe 200 pips, but at least I know 180 pips on NZDJPY, and it probably retests this high of 230 pips. Okay, that's NZDJPY. So 100 to 230 pips on a buy. That's my bias. Although, yeah, because I'm just looking at it as a retesting this high, or this first high, then this second high, and then pulling back down. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at, and that's my explanation for why am I looking at a buy and not a sell, considering this is going down. So generally, it looks like the trend is on its way down. Okay, but obviously we know that currencies don't just move in one direction straight, in a straight line. They move up and down, up and down. They retest previous highs and lows and so on and so forth. So I feel like it's done that here. Okay, if I was to look at the 30 minutes, it kind of confirms this for me. So this is pretty simple. So you see it opened with a gap here, yeah, at very low, but it's already moved like 50 pips. So my take would be it's pushing up, like it's a strong impulse, and it will try and retest this high here, which is about 30 pips away, and probably this one. So it's very possible that NZDJPY will at least do 80 pips. Let's see, 60 pips. So, but it's, for me, it's not a trade I want to take because it's on a very strong downtrend. I know that it's been on a downtrend, but I feel like it's trying to recover, right? So it will just test the previous. Let me show you guys what I mean. If I was to take a trade, this is it. So I probably imagine this will go all the way here. So let's say 76 pips. So let's just say about 80 pips, okay, on a minimum before maybe it begins to pull back down, right? But then again, if you look at this, you always have to have a bigger picture. Still telling me the same thing. So this is one high, yeah, but it's on a downtrend. But this is a very strong support, as you can see, and hence why maybe it bounced off, tried to break through with a gap, but wasn't able to. So this tells me it's a very strong support. So if that's the case, then chances are it will retest the previous high before it continues on its downtrend. But that's not a trade I'll take now because, like I said, guys, it's not big enough, and NZDJPY doesn't move so much on Mondays. So that's it. Let's look at gold. Gold, on the other hand, has been on a consistent uptrend for a while now. Yeah. But today, like this morning, it did spike up about, let's see, 150 pips. But if I look at the 30-minute chart, I'm kind of biased on a pull back, like on a drawdown of, let's say 668. maybe even 150 pips for gold. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. 60 to 100 pips pullback before it continues on its uptrend, because it hit the ceiling. As you can see, came down, retested. It looks like it's on a bearish run. I don't think right now is when gold is going to bust past this high. As you can see, this is this high here. I don't see it going through there right now. I see it first retesting previous lows before it goes back up. So that's gold. We have so USD pullback, so sell for about 150 pips. I think so. Before going back on its way up. Yeah, that's gold. So we'll look at it later in the week, and you guys can also just look at that. And then we have what next? AUD, JPY, USD, Euro, JPY is another pair I really like. Chart. Okay. So Euro, JPY, it's been on a bearish run. Yeah, and we've caught those bearish moves the whole of last week, which was awesome. Really, really good pair. I love Euro, JPY. Right now, it's bouncing off a very strong support, as you can see here, a support and resistance. So this is a very strong, excuse me, point. So let's see. I still feel like it has a more bearish outlook. So I still am biased for a downside. There could be pullbacks, but I'm really biased for a downside of about 350 pips. Okay. This is on the long term. Remember, guys, I'm doing an intraday analysis, but usually, in as much as I'm trading intraday, usually scalpers can still take my trade ideas 10 to 20 pips easy and still make money. So I'm gonna sell for Euro JPY or 350 pips. But I know that this is a very strong support, so it's very possible that it'll bounce off and probably do 200 pips up before it continues down, which would be good. Yeah, which would be good because then you'd get more pips on the downtrend. Okay, but either way, whatever happens, if you're well leveraged, you can still just enter a sell and hold until the end of the week. Okay, because Euro JPY does move and it won't take too long before it closes. So the key here is risk management, which is something we can talk about. I realize a lot of people struggle with risk management, and because like I can hold trades forever, like seriously, I can. That's a reason why. Okay, okay, we already look at US 30. My fingers just love US 30. Okay, so another pair we can look at is Euro. I also like Euro USD. It's one of the most stable currencies, like really awesome currencies. Similar sentiment. Bearish run. It'll pull back first before that is a good bearish run of about 200 pips on EU. Bearish run of about 200 pips before it pulls back, maybe, but it could pull back first to this point, 100 pips, before it comes down, which is a good entry. So if I was trading live, I would then go to the 30 minutes, and especially if I'm not very sure, and kind of look at it again. So that's how it is. But it's Euro USD has been very consistent, okay, in its storyline. Like I've been looking at this pair and trading it for the last couple of months and weeks, and it's been very consistent. So I like its moves. Like it's just telling me this is still on a downtrend. There will be pullbacks to the previous highs and whatnot, but hey, we are on the move down. Euro GBP, usually crazy pair. Crazy. Crazy. Okay, so Euro GBP did its run up. Okay, it broke this high, completely smashed it and went up. I think it's gotten to a good resistance point, and I feel it's now going to be bearish this week. Um, I'm looking at about 118 on the downside, possibly 200, 150 pips, right? I feel like it's bearish. But again, I will wait maybe around 11:30 to confirm this, because now the market has opened, but it's not really moving. It's a Monday, guys, so I think the New York session will be more vibrant. So we can check it out again then. I'll probably check it out again then when I'm preparing for tomorrow's trades. Yeah, so let's say 150 pips on a bearish run for Euro GBP. So let's look at the GJ trades. GBP trades, GBP, JPY. Yep, followed market structure. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Oh my God. I feel like it'll go up and up and up and up. 150 pips at least on GJ. Actually, 200 pips, 250 pips on GJ on a buy. It was on a really good bearish run, but I think the pressure is a bit better now, so the bulls will likely take over. But like I said, New York session will probably confirm that. But for me now, I see a buy for 250 pips. These are just trade ideas, guys. You can take them, you can test them, you can do further analysis. Same thing with the GU, same sentiment. Maybe 150 pips, maybe 250 pips. So between 150 to 250 pips on a buy on GBP, USD. Sometimes if you're not sure about what you're seeing in the market, just look at different pairs. I mean, it doesn't hurt. Then obviously you'll only zone in on the pairs that you like to trade. One or two pairs. You don't need to look at all the pairs. The same story is happening. So 284 pips, but maybe 300 pips. Gonna buy on GBP CHF. The thing is, what I usually do is, because it's on a very good support, like all these GJ trades are on the support, they're on their floor right now. So if there's a break to the downside, it's very likely that the trend is down, okay, because it's been on a bearish run since 5th of this month. Okay, it's been on a bearish run. So if it breaks this point, chances are it will keep on going down. But right now, for this today, I feel like it could probably pull back up before it goes down, like until this point here. That's why I said buy. Yeah, so that's basically it. Then which other pair? GBP, I like GBP AUD. So the pairs I trade usually are AUD USD, AUD JPY, USD JPY, gold, and I also throw in GA and GU. And of course, the two indices, German 30 and US 30. So, but usually in a day, I probably take three trades out of the best that I see. I don't necessarily have to take all trades, but I analyze those trades a lot. So GA is on the floor, be on the floor. I feel like GA is telling me the same thing. I feel like it's gotten to the floor. I feel like it's going to go up. It's going to go get bullish at some point. But then again, you always have to look left. Yeah. So it's possibly would long term get to its 400 pips, possibly. Yeah, very possibly. So let's say 350 pips. But before that, I believe it will retest 100 pips and then continue down. Make sense, guys? Yep. So probably retest this previous high, which is 128 pips above the current price, and then come and just go all the way to the 300 pip mark. Okay, guys? So GBP, AUD. So it's basically, it's on a downtrend, yes. But remember, there are pullbacks in between. So just note what I said. But I'll look at it at the New York session. Okay, what are the GJ? These are the GBP, rather, GBP, NZD. Look at it for fun. I don't necessarily trade it much, but telling me the same story. So possibly still on a downtrend, okay? But it could pull back up, okay, to the previous high, 150 pips away before it drops like it's hot. 300 pips to like 400 pips. So if you're an intraday trader, or let's say you're a swing trader, you can actually just hold this pair all week. You don't have to trade 10 pairs. You can enter one pair and then hold it, okay? Especially for currency pairs, you can do that. Indices, you have to have the account for it. You can also swing trade on indices. I think it's beautiful because they really pay you, but you have to have the account for it. That's GBP NZD. What else am I looking at? What other currency pair do we look at usually? And you guys can tell I have a bias, so that's why I'm struggling to think of anything else, because I think I've exhausted the pairs. I look at Euro GBP, Euro USD, Euro NZD. Yes, let's look at Euro NZD. Same story. Euro NZD is on a downtrend. It's very clear. This is a good pair. If I was trading on Mondays, I'd probably take this for a sell of 200 pips. Yep. U is very clear to me. Euro NZD. Probably take it for a sell of 200 pips. So Euro JPY, Euro USD, Euro NZD are on a sell. Another pair that is actually good to look at on the Euro side is the Euro CHF. Yeah, similar stories, similar. So it might pull back up, okay, Euro CHF, about 80 pips before it drops like it's hot to about 100 pips. Yeah. Then there's Euro AUD. Oh yes, Euro AUD is another good, very consistent, like Euro NZD and Euro AUD. They move. They when they move, they sometimes take a while before they break out, but when they break out, they just go bam. And like, so you really have to be on the right side of the market, because if you're not, it will catch you off guard and do like 200 pips in the shortest period of time, and you're like, oh my god, what just happened? So Euro AUD, I'm biased for the for the downtrend as well. So that's about, I'm gonna give it 250 pips. Okay, minimum. I'll be very surprised if it does less. I even give it like 300 pips, but let's say 250 to 300 pips. I mean, if you get 300 pips, yay. Of course, we use stop loss to secure profits. You can do a trailing stop loss once you're in profit, so that you're always securing your accounts. So yes, so the pairs I will likely be trading this week are US 30, German 30, AUD JPY, AUD USD, and then we'll have gold, we'll have Euro JPY, we'll have Euro USD, we'll have GBP, JPY, we'll definitely have GBP USD. And then another one we'll have for sure is Euro AUD. So those are the 10 pairs that I really, really love to trade. And then the others are like GA for sure. So that's 11 pairs. Euro NZD. So if I throw, and then maybe USD JPY. USD JPY, sometimes I love it, but sometimes it takes a while for the moves to form, for the market to just find its position. And you guys also know, when I say it on my channel, which is for active IM Academy members, that I don't trade consolidation. I avoid trading consolidation. So I hate pairs that just move up, down, up, down. So exotic pairs can do that for you, like USD ZAR, Euro ZAR, like they can consolidate for a while. You know, so if you trade those pairs, it can be very frustrating if you don't get the entries correct. But when they move, they are crazy. So if I even look at, let's say, USD ZAR right now, like right now it's on an uptrend, right? Okay, so right now this is a very good time to get into this pair. Okay, but obviously you have to have the account for it. Right now is a good time, I believe, because this is definitely going up to this point. Definitely. This is 18.24278. Figure out how many pips that is. I keep on getting confused with the exotic pairs. I think that's about 800 pips. Of course, the pip value is very different on exotics. So a good place to have gotten into this would have been down here at 16. Yeah, because that's like almost 1,000 pips all the way here, all the way to here. So you can actually get into this right now and hold, because it moves slowly. It's not going to move the way you expect it to move for the other pairs like GJ and so on. So you're just going to enter this on a different account and hold it. Okay, guys? Yes. If I look at USD, no, Euro ZAR, I think I'd see the same thing. Exactly. If I look at the Euro MXN, I mean, I just, sometimes I just look at exotic pairs to kind of typically telling me the same story. Yeah. So Euro MXN possibly pull back down before it continues up. It's on a, I feel like it's on an uptrend. Probably 1,000 pips, just 1,000 pips, yeah, thereabouts. Points, again, gets confusing, but if I look at, it's at 25 and yeah, so about 1,000 points. USD and XN, probably giving me the same thing. So sometimes, if you want to have fun, trade the exotics. They will pay you the Turkish lira, Mexican peso. Like, this is a good move. I mean, you just have to be patient to hold, because it's not going to close. This is a swing trade, guys. This is a swing trade. That's for sure. Yeah, and we can check it out in like a month, at the end of the month rather, see how it's done. Hopefully let me put a note. I'll look at USDMX, I'll look at the exotics basically at the end of the month to just see how they move, so that we can actually confirm what I'm saying. Exotics end month analysis. Now, probably, yeah, so tomorrow, likely, I hope I remember, put a reminder. Sometimes I do forget because it gets very hectic. But if I can, I'll do a live trading session where, as I'm calling trade ideas on Vibrata, for IM under the trade ideas. Okay, so if you want to take my trade ideas, you have to be a member of the academy, the IM Academy, and secondly, you have to be subscribed to Vibrata, so that you're able to also get the trade ideas off there. Yeah. Of course, there are other ways you can be. If you know me really well, you could be on my private channel, but for majority of people, they get my trade ideas from my brother. So guys, that's basically it. It's an hour after I began doing this analysis. I don't want to take it longer than this. I hope you're getting value, hopefully. And yeah, so if not, let me know. If yes, type in the comments and then like and subscribe, so that I can be encouraged to keep on doing this, and I know that people actually value this content, but I'll try and keep it consistent. So for now, thank you and have a lovely, lovely trading week. If at all I feel generous this week to give you free trade ideas, I think I might. Look out for me on IG under I am fierce at I_am_fierce with a triple R. I probably will do a live IG, a surprise live IG. And if you catch me there, then you'll be able to get free trade ideas, just for fun, guys, just for fun, giving back and just adding value to people. So thanks, guys, and have a lovely day. If you're in the East African Standard Time, if you're in the American CST time, good morning, early good morning. I know you're asleep. You probably see this when you're awake. So thanks, guys. Bye.